Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great time today. Uh, this is the Red Reject show. We have got Jesse today in background. First of all, before I start, hello, Nigel, and thank you for putting shared it into your group, mate. Thank you very much. Before I put Jesse on and we talk about spirits and guides, or spirit guides. Uh, We've got some good news. We are now joined and streaming onto one Parapost, uh, Tem- Skeleton Key Network, and the Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. So yeah, please check all these magnificent networks out. Parapost, Brian, brilliant guy. The teams that run the other networks, and mainly DNTV, good old Drew. And I'm guessing Drew is here in the background. Hi, Drew. And hi, Sue. Yes, so yeah, please, if to support all these pages, if you could just give us a like, share, follow, that'll be amazing. Today we are going to talk about spirit and guides. So I'm going to put now Jesse on. Hello, Jesse.
Hi, Philip. Thanks for having me again. Hi, everybody. We have, as usual, lots to talk about. I hope you have your questions ready, your experiences ready, because we've got a lot to talk about. Yes, spirit and guides, and spirits and guides too. Everybody's here, so we're all set up, and ready to get rolling. Hi, Sue. Hi, everyone. Sue, we'll have to get in touch soon. Not on air, but when you have a moment. And we've got a lot of news. I've got a lot of news from my front. Actually, as often I have already done this show in French. But as usual, a lot of things have been coming to me ever since. So you're going to get the update, actually, with all the extra goodies thrown in. So this is really good. Things are moving on. And as you just said, Philip, we are gaining ground, spreading the range of our shows and reaching out to more people, which is always good. They're always welcome. Be happy to be there with them. Stay tuned.
Yeah. So before we move on, there's also Wayne in the background. Hi, Wayne. Hope all is well. That's Spirits Within. Please, guys, go over to that page as well. Brilliant guy, brilliant group. Also, Mick Day. Hi.
Hi, Mick.
So, Jesse, let's kick it off. Spirit and guides.
Yeah, so I was given to do this show, like a lot of my shows, because I was thinking about a lot of things as usual, but I got to hear a lot. We all probably get to hear a lot about spirits, guides, this and that and the other. And, the place, this planet is teeming with prophets who think they know everything. And in fact, in the past, I used to believe them and to think, oh, how lucky, they get this, that, and the other. And why don't I get it? When I was getting, in fact, a lot more than them. And I was getting a lot of things from the horse's mouth, which I found out they were not. A lot of people are connected to what we call the lower astral. The lower astral is just another name for your ego, for the matrix. They think, this sort of broadcast thing which a lot of people pick up and take for granted, which would be good if it were true. Only the sad thing is that it is just taking you for a ride. It's not taking you anywhere constructive. And I have found out, I've been in this game for a long, long time now, and I've found out with time and experience that, in fact, a lot of people who claim they have all this, that, and this information from their guides and their spirits, or people I prefer to call companion, but we're going to come back to that in a moment. And those those people, in fact, they were stuck in a rut. They go around in circles repeating the same thing, and you come back to them 10 years later, they're still repeating exactly the same thing the same way. You come back to them 20 years later, you hear the same story. You come back 30 years later, you hear the same story. You come back 40 years later, and so and the longer you come back to them, they're still on with the same thing, which means they are really stuck in a rut, and they're really in the lower astral, in the matrix. They're probably quite honest, actually, and persuaded that they are actually speaking the truth and they have news, etc. The only thing I would like to say to them is, sit back and think. If you've been repeating the same thing all the time, are you sure you're not, a puppet, in fact, playing for the matrix and just repeating these things? If you are really doing an evolutionary kind of work, self-development, spiritual development, universal development, and so forth, then you should be getting new things and checking them, like I do, all the time, and evolving and moving forward. If you're not evolving, I would recommend, you check your sources and you check what you're doing and who you're doing it with, because there's something wrong there. It's not normal. I mean, I don't like the word normal, but just to put it in layman's words, it's not normal. If we are on a spiritual path, on a development path, on an evolutionary path, we should be moving on. We cannot be repeating all the time. And as I said before, maybe in most of my shows, I'm moving all the time. I get new stuff all the time. And when I get people, for example, coming to me and asking me, "Oh, Jesse, I've got this health issue. Can you deal with it?" And most of the time I can address those issues, but not always, to be honest. And I will not claim that I can do anything and everything. I am progressing, I'm moving on. And what I normally say now is, I can't yet, but there's always room for improvement. And, sometimes I was in some shows and suddenly, they send me the message in the middle of the show like this. And I was like, struck, suddenly something like a ton of bricks fell over my head, and I realized, oh my God, I can do this, sort of thing. And it was really, really strange. Like, I haven't spoken about this here on this show, on this channel. I have realized it was really, really strange. I was doing a show with Stefan again, and I was preparing the show. It was hours before we went on air. And suddenly I felt something was coming to me. And then I felt all those aliens and entities were coming around me. And they normally do when we have shows and when I have shows, even by myself, like, for example, tonight. And I mean, by myself as a guest, like tonight. But I thought, run-of-the-mill kind of thing, I'm getting all my friends, visitors, and this and that and the other. And then something was really, really strange, and I couldn't pinpoint it. I couldn't fathom what was going on, but there was something different there. And I realized, like, there was a kind of expansion, only I couldn't put it down to anything, anyone, or anywhere. And it was really strange. But, I mean, this is half my life, so I thought, okay, another one of those spells again. And in the middle of the show, it suddenly dawned on me. And the minute I started and I wanted to speak about this, Stefan came out. He said, "Oh, you got entities here who want to move up dimensions." I said, "Oh my God, Stefan, you've picked them up as well." I was just going to say that. He took the words right out of my mouth. And I said, "Yes, I know there are entities here. They were here from this afternoon." So that was an evening show again. And I said, they've been with me all afternoon. They came this morning when I woke up, they were there. Then they came back in the afternoon. And I could see there were a lot of them and they wanted something from me at that moment in the afternoon. I couldn't fathom what it was. But then now I'm realizing I can actually push them up to the next or higher dimensions. And in fact, now humans are 3D. They are 2D. Those entities are 2D. And I thought, oh, this is interesting, but how am I going to do that? I know I can do it, but how? That was the big question. And so suddenly it came. They sent me the drill, and I went through the drill. It was really, really quick. It's almost instantaneous, in fact, now. And I pushed them up, etc. And suddenly I thought, oh, there are other people here. And just as I was thinking that, Stefan came and he said, oh, but there are more coming. I thought, oh, we're getting really busy here. And so there were more, and they wanted, and I didn't know I could do it, but they said, yes, you can do it, and we need you to do it for us. So I did it. They were actually higher entities who had fallen into 2D from 8D. And I thought, my God, I've taken entities up to 5D because I'm already 5D, but and I can connect to higher dimensions still. But I've never, pushed anybody so far up as 8D. And they said, "Come on, you can do it." So I got connected, and the next minute I was doing it. I said to Stefan, "But why are we doing this tonight? What's new? What's happening?" And he said, "Well, in fact, those people, they had actually fallen from 8D." And down to 2D, and then they knew you could send them back to 8D. So I thought, well, that's great. And now I'm doing this as well, So, like I was saying a moment ago, things happen all the time. I'm progressing. I'm getting new things. I get openings for new dimensions, healing for more stuff, and new things, and etc. And it's wonderful. I just love this. So. Yeah. This is also often, I will not say always, because it's not always the case, but yet more and more actually, assisted by entities or aliens from other dimensions or higher dimensions, and higher dimensions, and they come and assist us, which is really, really wonderful. I think I've spoken already about dragons who came recently. I've been doing a lot of business with dragons, and they're really, really great. Ants come, mantoids come, and so really, really good. Reptilians, of course, but I'm a reptilian, and I will go back to a reptilian life in my next life. So this is all family to me. And not yesterday, 2 days ago, it was Thursday. Yeah, Thursday morning, I had a lady who had contacted me for a karmic regression. So we went back into past lives and followed through the drill of her questions and questioning, and suddenly she saw herself as a metal person in a desert on another planet. And I thought, wow, what is this life you're back into? And she said, I don't know. I said, okay, look at your body again and check your feet. She said, I've got metal feet. I thought, okay, your legs, metal legs, your waist, metal waist. And right up to the top of her body, she was metal. And I said to her, who are you? She says, I don't know who I am. I'm lost. I'm in a desert on another planet. I'm looking for my team. We got stranded and scattered, and we've lost track of one another. And I'm really looking for them. And she said, in fact, I don't think I will see them again because I'm really, really poorly now. And I don't think I will survive this trek. So we went through that, and then we got connected. And I said, okay, who are the people you are looking for? And she said, they are called Ashar. And I thought, Ashar. And I didn't say anything because I didn't want to put words in her mind or in her mind or in her mouth. So I just asked more and more questions. And then at the end of the session, I said, Stefan and I have been connected to those aliens who are actually metal aliens, and they are family to Stefan, and they are called Ashtra. And she said, oh my God, this is the word I heard. That's what we are. I said, well, you're all family with Stefan now because you're connected to that. And I said, in fact, they are really, really interesting, the Ashtra, because they are metal beings. They are aliens. And they are very, very advanced, apparently, and they got lost, and they lost all their people. who got scattered. They don't know where they are. They may be in different planet, different system, etc. Well, Stefan, of course, is on Earth. This lady is on Earth, but they also met on that other planet, which was not their planet, by the way. They were just visiting that planet, that Dune-like kind of planet, if you've seen the film. And she said, yes, it all makes sense now. This is exactly how I felt and what I felt. And now it's all coming together. I said, wow, great, and we're connected again with them. So this is just to come back to the idea that we have in karmic regressions, in healing, we have people who come and assist us. Like I said a moment ago, I've been having a lot of help from dragons, which was really new. Actually, the dragons only came to me last year, so that's about a year now we've been in business together and in partnership, and which is really good. Now I get a lot of comings and goings, toing and froing with ants, ant aliens, with mantoid aliens. Now, if you've ever heard about the Hopi Indian from, I think they are from New Mexico in the US, and they have a legend saying that they come from the star. It is in their ancient culture, and they were called the Anasazi at the time, and they come from the stars, from the sky. And they said one day they were on Earth thousands of years ago, and they were really in poor condition. And some ants came and saved them. And now we have ant people. And ants are really, really good because they're also in genetics and healing, and they're really, really good. They may be coming and going. This is where I get back to the spirits and guides business topic. They may be coming to help me for an operation, for example. I think I've already said this before. I practice immaterial operation. That is, I operate on other dimensions of humans. I can operate on your electric body, on your magnetic body, on your light body, whatever, and then cure you with this or the other, whatever issue you may have. And this is one of the things I do. And sometimes they're there. And for example, recently I had ants. I had spiders also. Spiders are extremely advanced, and they're really, really good. They're also in healing. Until about 2 years ago, I had a lot of Venusians, people from Venus, are really from, they're really, really high again in healing and technical. So I get them. But what I want to say here before we really get any deeper into the matter is a lot of people will tell you, you have a guide, you have a spirit, you have a totem animal protecting you, etc., which may be true, only not most of the time, because it doesn't work like this. What happens is we may be accompanied. I think I've mentioned my nephew in Tehran, who has a companion who's been with him all the time, ever since he was born, and probably before. I know that being. I have come across it. It or him, actually. It's not. It's neither man nor woman. It's just a being. A lot of aliens don't actually have a gender or sex. They just, and when they reproduce, they clone their children, their colleagues, etc. Whoever they need to clone, they clone.
Sounds a bit like Battlestar Galactica to me.
Yes, the silence in Battlestar Galactica, yes. But there is a reason for that, Philip. The reason being that, in fact, and again, I've said this before in other shows, these are messages aliens are putting through, so humans, for example, learn about them and do not get worried or afraid about them until the day we really all come together, actually meet face to face and in the flesh, for those who have flesh. This is a kind of preparation, as it were, through different sources of information. A lot of it is through what is commonly called science fiction, which in fact is mostly space opera. It's not really science fiction. But yes, you're absolutely right. If we talk about the silence, in Battlestar Galactica. This is exactly what it is. Yeah, for a lot of them. So what they do is they come and they guide us, help us, train us, love us. They give a lot of love. Love is the fuel of creation. That's when, anytime you love, you feel love, you give love to someone and receive love, of course. You are answering a higher call in some way or another, maybe. And so they come and help us. They have, for example, ants have come to me to operate on me like this, but they're not here all the time. I mean, I have, again, I think I've said this, but I have what I call a companion, which is not the same as my nephew, not the same race, not the same planet, not the same appearance, radically different one from the other. Chalk and cheese, but who does a similar job. In fact, he comes, is a kind of alien cicada, which is about 4 feet high. And he's always with me. In fact, when I was a kid and I could perceive him, I was really, really scared because I didn't know what was going on. But nothing ever happened to me. But I was, as a kid and not knowing, I was really, really scared. Every night he was there. And of course, with time passing and learning and developing and connection and etc., and my evolution also, and my work and self-development and all, then I realized that, in fact, there was something else there. And I got connected one day. Now, that was about 2017, maybe 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago, I think.
No, Jesse, I'm
sorry?
getting to that stage.
We have to talk, Philippe.
I keep waking up in the feeling of in a room, and it feels bubble wrappy on surface.
Wow,
it's a strange moment. I know that there's something in there in room with an hand.
Join the club. Yeah, we must talk, Philippe. We must talk. Yeah. Well, maybe you'll want to share some of this with us in a moment. And anyway, just to finish this part of my presentation tonight, I realized that, and I actually ended up seeing him. And the love that was coming out of that, and I realized he was, in fact, really, really a benefactor and helping me and doing lots of good things and good deeds, teaching me, protecting me, keeping me company. Now, this is what happens to my nephew in Tehran. This is what happens to me and maybe hundreds of millions of people roaming about this planet. But it's not the case for everyone. More often than not, what happens is we get what I call visitors. They come and stay with us, by us, or around us, or near us. They may stay for a period or come and go, and then one day disappear. They come to help us. They come to help us when we are working on our development, and we call upon them and they can help us. They actually come. Now, this is not like, for example, Mary, Virgin Mary, I mean Mother Mary. She comes anytime you call her. She will be there and help you anytime. She's really, really amazing. She's so full of love. It's impossible to conceive, I mean, I think, for a human, because it's really higher love. But she's always there. Now, coming back to people who come to and fro, as I would put it. Now, they come, like, for example, I had, for a period, again, it was 4 years ago, I had a lot of Antarians from Antares, a star, not far from us. They are actually like librarians of the universe. So they collect data and information everywhere and anywhere, and I could see them everywhere. Now, as I evolved, those people disappeared. I mean, disappeared, quote unquote, because they didn't disappear at all, but I didn't see them, or didn't see them as often, or didn't see them anymore. Not because they disappeared, because I moved up into higher dimension. They're still about the place, and they don't mind me, and I don't mind them. Each to our own business. But they come, they do their collection, they do their job, and that's what apparently, to the best of my knowledge, they do and do best. But this is the mission they sort of assess themselves, set themselves to. And so that was for the Ontarians. Now, and after that, I didn't really have anybody, but I could see that, for example, there were what are called totem animals, like animals. They could be alien animals who come and again stay with us. They're not always humanoid, you know, the spirits of being. They're not always flesh, as I said, flesh and bones and flesh and blood. They can be all sorts of different entities from all sorts of different. A lot of them don't even have a body actually, but they can come and roam about us, and they to come back to, I lost my train of thought here. To come back to what I was saying a moment ago, they come and do a job. And then, last year, it really started last year, but I mean, they came in droves. It was dragons. And it was really, really good because I met a lot of aliens from a lot of planets, universes, dimensions, etc. But I mean, I'm talking tonight about those who were really around me and around people who were either coming to me for assistance or I was working with, for example, like Stefan. Yeah. And so they came. But in the past, I used to believe, because I didn't know any better, I used to believe, oh yes, we may have spirits around us. They could be fairies or leprechauns, for example, when we go to the woods or to the gardens, etc. They're also here, you know. And they come, and in the past I used to believe they were there all the time, but I found out they were not actually. They come to help us when we are working on our development, spiritual development, for example, and our ascension. And they also come to help us when we need help, and they can help. But they come and go. They're not only with us. For example, I may have one who comes to visit me every so often, for example, when I do healings here, and in between times, they will come and see you, Philip, and stay with you for other things. As you said, you were feeling they were around you, for example. And again, in between times, they may be with somebody in Japan, for example. Yeah. So they just come and go. Mary is really different. She's not an alien. She's just one of those ascended masters who is just everywhere and anywhere. You only need to call her and she's here. She's really amazing, like I said, but she's a different kettle of fish. We each have our own job to do in creation. But very often, for example, you'll be with a dragon for 2 years, and then this dragon will have learned from you, because they also come to learn from us. I have to remember, I have to negotiate with a lot of aliens, and I do that in my healings and in my passing souls, for example. I have to do a lot of that. Or politically, for example, when I'm with the Galactic Confederation or another confederation, and I have to negotiate with them. They come and go as need be. That doesn't mean they are always with you. And in fact, it's probably better, because they come and help us and in that way learn from us. Like, for example, when they put implants, I have to deal with a lot of people who are being implanted by aliens. And I have come to learn that, in fact, these implants, they are not bad aliens most of the time. I'm not saying all the time, but most of the time. They are not ill-meaning aliens. They just come here they may put a tracker on us because they want to follow us and study who we are, or do some work on us. Like I happen to be in connection with Mantoid about 2 years ago now, almost 2 years ago. And we really exchanged, and it was really, really wonderful, because again, the Mantoids, they get a bad rap, but in fact, they do a great job. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. Just to say one thing, that's the first thing, we just wouldn't be here. So now they come and do this and that, but only because they have evolved so high and so much. They don't understand emotions. They don't have emotions anymore. They don't understand pain. They don't understand trauma. So I have to talk to them and help them. So they are learning. It is an exchange. It is a partnership,
Yeah.
two-way partnership. And so they come and they go. But now, then, when they have what they needed or wanted as a piece of information,
Yeah.
they will go somewhere else, someone else on another planet, in another universe, God knows where. Maybe God doesn't even know. But, they're just somewhere else and doing other things. They're just doing other things. And then some of them also die, disappear, move on into other lives in other places, etc. They change all the time. They can be animals. We have animals. For example, I was really, really amazed the other day, and I'm really moved when I even think about this. Only I haven't got the full message yet, actually. I'm hoping to get it soon. I woke up the other day. It was like maybe Tuesday, and I woke up, and as I woke up, I could see a very, very particular street in the old town of Macau, where I had been. And I really love that street. So that's probably why they chose that image in my memory bank to project this. And it was really, really nice. And suddenly there was a horse there, a horse roaming free. It was really quiet, standing there in the distance, came towards me. And I realized that, in fact, this was a projection of one of the what we call equidians. So they are humanoid horses, as it were, to put it as simple as possible, who come from the Pleiades on a planet there. And only I don't really know why he was there and what he wanted with me. So if he's listening, I'm waiting for more information. But that was really, really beautiful. Philip.
Which is actually, to mention, fascinating on how you work as well, is that when you're doing these talks, you're actually getting messages, aren't you, as well? And I know that's been many cases, and when we were talking about Matrix, and then it came out that you were getting messages while you were talking, it gives you inspiration for next talk, didn't it?
It is an ongoing process. The best illustration I can give of this sort of connection in my life is, imagine, the old ham radios our parents, my father had one, and it's still somewhere around. I don't know where. I think one of my sisters took it away. But anyway, and it was working. It was really, really working. And those radios, you just tuned into, you only had to turn the button only so little very often, and suddenly you were listening to some radio in Bratislava or in Shanghai, for example. And of course, most of the time, I didn't understand the language, and God knows I spoke a few already, but there are so many about the earth, and it was magic to me. I just loved sometimes when my father wasn't around or he was at work and I was at home, I used to play with the buttons, and make sure I put it back on the right spot where it should have been, so my dad wouldn't know I'd been playing around with it, and he could still have his own radio when he turned it back on. But it was really, really amazing. Now, imagine you have one of those ham radios, and then the only difference is all the stations are broadcasting, and you can hear a lot of stations. I don't know, maybe all the stations, but lots and lots of stations everywhere at the same time. And I have to choose which one I want to, to have business with, because I cannot. I can handle 3 or 4 in one go simultaneously, but only so far. So excuse me, everybody. That's what I can do for the moment. But it's the same for the people who have seen X-Men, for example. I mean, the first X-Men film that ever came out, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. I love Patrick Stewart. Actually, he's one of my favorite actors, and he's Professor Xavier, and he has this machine. I can't remember what they call it in the film, but and through this machine, the minute he dons his helmet on, he can pick up all the mutants everywhere. This is what I see. You know, when I saw that film, I thought, oh my God, you know, this is what's happening to me all the time.
Everybody knows what life for Jesse's like. It's like Xavier out of X-Men.
I cannot have a private moment, I'm telling you, Philip, you know, because they're always there, whatever I do. Sometimes it's really embarrassing because I know they're there and they're watching. But I won't say what I'm doing at those times, not on this show. But it's something private. But anyway, yeah, it's really how it works. So the spirits are there. They're there to help us. We should be thankful for them. We should communicate with them and be, you know, really, really be grateful to have them. A lot of people are actually afraid of them. I can understand, like I told my nephew in Tehran again, you know, because when he said is alien, and I asked him what his alien looked like, and he drew me a griffin. And I said, and then I looked at the griffin picture he had just drawn, and I thought, okay. And then he realized I didn't sort of, I don't know, maybe not believe him, but he thought he sensed there was something else there. And he said, but uncle, does he really look like that? And I said, no, he doesn't look like that one bit. And he says, well, how and why is it that I see him like that? I said, well, you are Iranian. So he picked pictures in your Persian culture. Griffins are part of Persian culture, and so that you wouldn't be afraid of him. And he said, because I would be afraid of him. I said, oh yes, you would probably be very afraid of him, because you know, for humans he's really great and wonderful and full of love and etc. But I said, you know, his physical appearance would be frightening to a lot of aliens. It's more frightening than what you see in most films, but it doesn't change the fact that he's a great soul, a great entity. And
it's good how you mentioned about appearance though as well, because I keep hearing that a lot of people are seeing men in hats, just black figure with a normal hat. And I've always had that feeling of, yeah, they're there to appear like that so that you don't get scared, because what's a man in a hat going to do?
You're entering again a broad subject here. Just to, I mean, only for the beginning. Aliens bend time and space.
Yeah.
They project themselves as they like, very often in a friendly, for well-meaning aliens, okay? In a friendly kind of a picture, like for my nephew, for example, something or some kind of entity that is familiar to you, or like the horse, for example. But again, that entity I saw is part horse anyway. Yeah. But and I really love animals, and I really love horses. I think they're just wonderful animals. But all animals are wonderful in their own way, of course. Now then, so they bend time and shape. They shift shapes. They project pictures for many, many reasons. A lot of people, for example, see greys, and very often the little greys, which are about 4 feet high, because the greys are organic robots, and they are employed or used, I should say, by many, many alien races. Now, I am part Zeta Reticuli, which is a system we cannot see. We would have to be in Australia to see it from Earth. And it's really very, very distant. Now, I am also a hybrid from that race. Now, they use a lot of greys for their works. I think the mantoids use some of them sometimes. The reptilians use some of them sometimes. And they don't have a brain. They don't think, the greys. Some of them are now being granted a soul, so they are evolving. But they don't have a brain. They're just basically your average R2-D2. You know, that's all they are. They're just R2-D2 thinks and makes decisions. By the way, I stand corrected here, but they shouldn't. In any case, they are just there to basically obey, like your dishwasher. You know, when you set your dishwasher on that program, it just does the job, and that's that. And that's what they do basically, and that's what they were built for. Now, they are a lot of people see those grays. There are other grays, which actually are not always grays. Sometimes they are brown, sometimes they are white, sometimes they are green. They can be really, really tall. They can be smaller than the ones we see, but somehow those, maybe they're a little bit um, careless about whether they are seen or not. I don't know why, to be honest, but or they don't mind being seen by some people, or they don't realize they're actually being seen and watched. Maybe that's that. But anyway, so that's one of the things they can do. But of course, spirits are not, when I say spirits, they are not only aliens. Like I told you, they could be fairies, they could be leprechauns, they could be all sorts of animals that you'll find on Earth. Oh, by the way, there is a Scottish author I really love. His name is Martin Miller. Miller with an A, not an E at the end. A-R
Do you
at
know?
the end.
I think
I
I
just,
think I've heard that one.
I just
I've heard that
love
one.
the guy. His books driving. I mean, read him. I mean, I give him lots of advertising, and because he's just so great, and his books are really crazy. One of his books is The Good Fairies of New York, and it is really, really amazing. But I mean, read all his books. They are all really, really great. Anyway. Let's leave the commercial break for the moment and to come back to those people. Some of them we never see. Some of them, like I said, they don't have a body. They're just vibrations or light. A good illustration actually is, I told you about films and series, but there is an amazing artwork, and which is really, really I mean, the guy or the woman who did that must be really, really connected. Katy Perry's E.T. song. It's really, the video is just amazing. And it really also shows things that what aliens can also be. Again, like I said, some of them can be just sensed, some of them can be just heard, smelled even. Sometimes you come into a place, or suddenly you're in your lounge, and suddenly you don't know why, or your windows are closed, you're not cooking, you're not doing anything, there is no machine operating around you in the house or whatever, and you're really alone, and suddenly you feel there is a cold coming in, and you don't know why. You feel really, really cold all of a sudden for no apparent reason. It is because there is one of those spirits or guides. Like I said, I don't like using guides because they don't necessarily guide you. They're not here to guide you. It's only humans who think they're there to guide you. They assist you when you have a question and when you're working. If not, they will not. They won't budge. It's not their reason for being. So they may be there, or suddenly you have this really. Usually for humans, it comes off as a bad smell. But what is a bad smell? Some people will like one type of perfume, and other people will like another type of perfume. One man's meat is another man's poison. So when it comes to taste and choices, we all have our own. What I mean by that is it is a sign of a presence. You don't know why. You cannot pinpoint it down to anything in particular, but I could. If I were there at the time, and I could tell you. Philip, you maybe you wanted to share something about your experiences a moment ago. You said something.
It's not a matter about actually sharing. It's just to let you know. I think recently I've had experiences of some beings in my room, especially at night. But it's not when I'm asleep. I'm fully awake. But there's also, when you get the sense that there's an animal that's hiding you, but you can tell it's definitely not a dog or anything with what's normal type. I think there were one time I saw some sort of like a jellyfish looking thing near me, and it was spotting around on me bed and then jumped off. And I'm like,
jellyfish. There are a lot. I mean, I know 5 alien octopus race. They are extremely intelligent. I mean, octopi actually have 9 brains. They have 8 tentacles, a brain in each tentacle, and a brain in the center. Let's call it the head, if you like, of the octopus. And those brains can work either independently or together. Now, beat that for a brain, you know. This is really amazing. I think I brought them up in my brain show a few weeks ago. But octopi are just really, really amazing. They are extremely intelligent. There are yeah, Annette. Yeah, well, join the club, Annette. The octopi are extremely intelligent. There have been over the years, and I think there are more and more actually, tests being carried out with octopi. Octopi can live out of water. Water is their environment, but they will not die if you take them out of water. Maybe they wouldn't last days, but at least a few hours. They won't even mind. But they will move, they will perform tricks, they will perform things. They're really, really amazing. And I was lucky enough. I mean, I always consider myself lucky when I meet aliens and entities. And I was lucky enough to meet, I think I've met 5 different kinds so far, all alien octopi. And really, really amazing. Jellyfish maybe too. I mean, jellyfish have been roaming the earth for more than 400 million years, and they don't even have a brain. I think I talked about them before. Now, I mean, beat that. You know, there are many humans who could use a brain, and and wouldn't fare better than jellyfish, maybe. But you know, that's God's law, as some people will call it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so you have people with you. Yeah. I could get connected to those people and tell you more. Yeah, there are people that they're very, you know, aliens are really curious and interested. We as human, and I'm only part human, thank God, we as human only want to get, you know, acquire, obtain, gain ground, gain material things. That's not the way. You know, it's not having. I always, when I hear people, not that I'm interested or care one way or the other, but when I hear about this star or that star who has this house in Hollywood with 247 rooms and 58 bathrooms, I think, my God, what do you do with that? You know, and they're not even there most of the time, because if they're very famous, they will be out away from home shooting in one country or one part of the country or another. So what's the good of all that? I mean, I'm not judging. I'm just asking myself, what is the point to all that? What is the good to all that? I mean, I think I said this. I'm buying a boat soon. I'm hoping my divorce will come through very, very soon. And the minute it comes through, I will buy a boat and I will live on a boat. I don't need 250 rooms to live in, and think about the housekeeping. Oh my God, you know. And it's all that. No. What do these people do? What we say? You don't take anything with you when you go. Whether you're rich or poor, you know, you just go. You just take your bag of skin and bones. That's all you take. And the minute you're gone, you even leave that. You don't even take it with you. So that's that. But anyway, come back to you. Now, what you're bringing up there, Philip, is about aliens and entities being around you. Yes, because I'm getting a little information here now. Yes, they are just watching you. They're learning.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, they have their pet humans like this, which they keep. Yes, sorry, Philip.
There was one experience I can remember when my brother left the household, because where I live, we used to share the same room, bedroom. Like when he went away, you know, to his new house. There was this one night, and got stalled, woke up stalled, looked over to the side where our John used to sleep, and saw this, what may have actually looked like a griffin, leapt over near area, kind of searching, looked over at me, and then just flew off. It was like a it was like a blue outline of it, and then just flew off. That were amazing. It didn't scare me at all, though. I just looked in amazement, if anything.
We are made, I mean humans, not me, but humans are made to be scared. This is management by fear, nothing else. You know, if they do nothing wrong to you, I mean, think about it. Yeah, I read a lot of nonsense on the internet. I mean, even on Facebook, for example. Oh, you know, the aliens are coming. This time is the end of us, etc. They could get rid of Earth in a heartbeat if they wanted, you know. And the other thing I normally answer when I bother to answer, because I don't like people to get wrong information for the other people who may be reading, not for the writer or the sharer of that post. But I mean, you know, they created us for God's sake. You know, it's not, they didn't create us to get rid of us. That wouldn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. You know, it only takes half a brain cell or maybe two to rub together, you know, to just see the logic in this. You know, you don't build something only to destroy it. You'd have to be mad. You don't travel millions of light years to create life and a whole planet and hundreds, I mean, billions of people even, just to say, oh, you know, I'm fed up of this, you know, let's just kick the bucket with all this and get rid of this and brush it under the carpet. No, you'd have to be darn stupid to do that. I mean, those people are really extremely intelligent and extremely powerful. We're talking about higher aliens and entities who negotiated with Venusians to come into this dimension, into this system, into the solar system, so that they could replace actually a planet which was there and disappeared. You know, they're not here to destroy humans. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I totally agree. But what does make what makes it worse, if anything, is us humans, because we've got that seem to have that outlook that anything that strange that comes down from the sky, we must shoot it, and you know, if anything, we're going to cause some sort of conflict.
I was doing quite a bit of gardening again today, and you know, some people, because my garden is really, really unusual, like my house, like my life, like myself, in fact. And some people say, "Oh, why don't you get rid of this plant? It's a weed." I said, "There is no such thing as weed in creation. The only weed on this planet is man, capital M." So that's the only weed. Everything is here for a reason.
Yes, I totally agree.
We have to balance that. You know, I've got to this stage now, and I'm really happy. I'm in the garden. I always was with ants in my flat in Paris. I always had ants. I mean, thousands of ants on my balcony. They never came into the house. Even when I left, I'm the kind of person to have my windows and doors open most of the year. I mean, when I'm in the house. But they never came in. They never gave me any trouble. It's only that they carry all these dirt with them. But okay, it's a little cleaning, but it's no bother. They never did anything wrong. And I have different races of ants on my balcony. They're not even the same type of ant. And you know, they're just there. They're there for a reason. They clean, they build, they design. I mean, imagine ants, for example, to talk about ants, earth ants and alien ants. I told you a moment ago that they're really into genetics and healing and this and that. Yeah. Ants have, like termites actually also, they have the faculty of changing genetically on Earth. I'm talking about those we have around us, in our back garden, for example. They have enough engineering faculties to genetically modify their own kind. You know, ants design cleaner ants, for example. Warrior ants, for example, they literally genetically design and build a queen ant. And all these things. I mean, we can barely have our own babies and keep them safe from harm. And, there they go. They genetically change their own kind as they please. Beat that for value. And we think they're just little animals and we can crush them and they're no good. I'd love to do that, half of what they're doing. But I can't. I can do a lot of things, but certainly
it's like
not
a beehive as well, isn't it? There's an whole ecosystem in one little area.
Bees, wasps, termites. A few animals can do that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Lycanet goes, I'm more afraid of the humans that run the planet than aliens.
Oh, you're not safe when you have humans around you. Huh? No, I always said that about myself.
When I'm doing a paranormal investigation, Jesse, I'm more scared what I'm running into human-wise than anything.
I've had a very bad weekend. Actually, last weekend was really awful for me. I have somebody staying with me, and he's somebody I've been helping who was homeless. He had gone abroad, come back to live with his son, and his son kicked him out of the house. I don't know why. And he said, I'm going to be sleeping in my car. And I said, no, nobody sleeps in their car when I'm around. So I took him in and gave him a room here. He's leaving in a couple of days, thank God. I've had no end of trouble with me. He lied to me. He cheated. He created problems. My gardener came to do some work in my garden here. Some of the main works I have a gardener for. I only do the little jobs. But and the gardener said, "Oh, would you mind moving your car?" He went berserk. Just because the guy asked him to move the car about a yard forward, which is nothing. We took people in the car when we went down to the south of France to check a boat for him, actually. We went down one day. I mean, this is like driving Edinburgh to Brighton, okay, in one day and back the next day. Yeah, this is that distance. And the next day we came back up in the afternoon and came back really late in the evening after checking the boat in the morning. And I said, okay, let's take some people who will pay their share, their way down for at least part of the trip, etc. He was really rude to them. He told them off. He was absolutely rude. I said, these guys, they're helping you to pay for your petrol. I mean, petrol is expensive here in France, really expensive. And it's gone up really, really high in the last few weeks. Thank you, Macron. Yeah. And it's not going to come down.
No.
The guy was really rude. He literally assaulted them verbally. I said, just keep cool. These people, they're giving you some money to share the expenses for the trip. This is the kind of guy. And he was the same with me.
Yeah.
So, that's, I have a big fault. I always want to save the world. This is not trouble in my life. I have helped. I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about this for as an example for a next show I'm going to do soon. And I have helped people. I mean, really, really in dire situations. I've taken them at home. I've paid for their medicine, I've given them clothes, or paid for clothes, paid for their keep, paid for their food, etc. I never got so much of the shadow of the thank you. Not that I expected one, but I didn't get it. And those people sometimes, very often, they didn't care, didn't thank me. Some of the time, most of the time, they were rude. After I'd helped them, they disappeared and claimed they didn't know me. I have 12 names in my list already. Everywhere I go, it was the same. Back when I was a student in the UK, there were people, one of my best friends at the time, I had him in my bedsit for 6 months because his family kicked him out of the house. Now he just won't talk to me. He won't know me. He told his sister he didn't know who I was.
That's crazy.
This is the kind of people. And I really don't want to do this again. But every time I get caught, because I have this not this streak, this kick in me to help people, you know? I mean,
It's
I
called
should say
compassion,
kick.
Jesse.
It's more, yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not a streak. It's not a kick only. It's a kink, I think, that I have to, I want to save the world. I've got to come out of this train, you know, stop this train and get off. Because, I mean, I'm going to be 62 at the end of the year. I still haven't heard my lesson on this topic. You know, I'm still helping people who were homeless, people who were, one of them is one of my sisters. And, you know, this is all the good I've been doing. I worked out, just for the example, and then we'll come back to spirits and guides. I've worked out that my flat in Paris, which is a big 2-bedroom flat in a good area, I mean, technically good area, and all transports, everything, you know, all mod cons, everything. It's really a good flat, big balcony, nice residence, and etc. Block of flat and all. I've worked out that if I was to get the money I gave people, and I won't even talk about the time and all the goods and this and that and the other, only the money I gave people in my life, I would have bought 3 other flats with that money alone. Okay, I only have one flat and my country house here. That's all I have, which is partly my country house because it's also my sister's. But you know, and I did this all my life. And where are those people now? Nowhere. And this is one of them. He's leaving in 2 days' time. You know, I can't wait to get shot of him.
But I believe in karma, Jesse, and I think that somewhere on lines, you will, you know,
I'm telling you, Philip, I have a hefty karmic debt somewhere. Only I wish I knew how to get rid of it and repay the karmic bank. There must be something wrong with me here. But anyway, let's come back to spirits and guides. Anybody has an experience or question, experience to share or questions they want? Or you, Philip?
Not as such. I mean, I think quite a few people, if anything, it's just been must have just been enjoying what you've been saying. But yeah, join the club. I should have learnt to kick myself as soon as I get up in the morning, so I don't get used to like being an idiot.
Yeah.
But
join the club.
Yeah, it's like I say. I think it kind of near enough summed it all up within this session when it comes to spirits and you know, your spirit guides.
Yeah,
and
I think so. Yeah.
Like I said, there is one area though, because I know subject is, you know, with spirit guides and aliens, but do you actually come across where that there's some alien guides that actually do want to pass on human spirits?
They do.
Because pretty sure that you do when you come across healing and such. There's got to be some spirits in some realms that are, you know, that are kind of stuck and want to be passed on. So I would have thought, what does aliens come across these type of spirits, these entities?
We all have a mission. We are all here for a purpose, for a reason. I do this regularly. I've talked about this in past shows already, and I would probably talk about it again. But yes, we do this all the time. But like I said, you know, I get help from some of them. Sometimes they teach me. Usually they teach me, and so I get the training, and like I said, I realize I can do it. And I mean, we are all unlimited in the toolbox, as it were, we have in the potential. I'm going to say this in another show. I have a show that I've been preparing for a long time, and I've been meaning to do it for a long time. But in fact, it's taking much. I always prepare 5 or 6 or 7 shows plus 3 or 4 books at the same time simultaneously, but plus all the rest, you know, run of the mill kind of things. But I'm glad, in fact, I haven't done it because I knew there is something missing. There is more I can say, and there is more I should say about this. They are oozing, trickling information down to me, and I had this book which I had at home, like for 30 years maybe. I'd never opened it, and then one of my friends came to me, and she's a Roman Catholic. She's Italian. She's a Roman Catholic. She's a churchgoer and a believer. And she one day she came out with this book, and I looked at her. I thought, Claudia, what have they done to the good Roman Catholic in you? And she said, oh, no, no, Jesse, I believe, but I'm open to other things. I said, that's good. Claudia is like 15 years older than me. And so I said, wow, this is really great. And then she told me, as Claudia normally goes, she tells you things and then doesn't really tell you. So it's neither here nor there. In fact, it's nowhere. It's a kind of innuendo that doesn't say its name, but it was enough to get me going anyway. And then I thought, okay, but I mean, the book is like 3 bricks on top of one another. It's a massive book. You know, you take your great big Collins dictionary, for example, or Oxford dictionary, you double this and you have this book we're talking about. This book is called the Book of Urantia. Maybe you've heard about it. And I had it at home. To be honest, I don't know where it is now, but in my Paris home. But then I got, I don't know why, something was bugging me and was talking about this in my head, and I thought maybe they're pointing me in that direction, one of my spirits and guides. And so I bought it as an audio book from Audible, and I'm actually listening to it now, the Book of Urantia. It is amazing, the interesting points that are in that book. I mean, it will take me years to get through this, because it will take me weeks to get through it, and it will take me weeks and weeks and weeks to read it again and again and again, because it's about twice the size of the Bible. It's really, really big. But there is a lot of information there, and they talk about the different realms of creation, the different realms of the different universes, for example, etc., etc. Lots of things which are keeping me away from doing the book I'm going to, I mean, the show I was going to tell you about, which is about God, no less. So, and all the potential that has been downloaded, if you like, or embedded into human, and everything we can do. We can all do this. Like I said, you know, I always say this. We have to work on our own development, and things will come. Only most of the time, people, you know, feel better squatting their own comfort zone, and that's it. It's each to their own. It's not me. I was never like this. You know, I was rotten from the start. I was a lost cause to humans from the start. And I as I said, you know, I always say this. I don't belong to this planet. I'm only here to do a job. Yes. Like some of my one of my mother's friends used to say, I'm only here because I'm too old for a paper round and too young for a pension. So I'm doing other things. But that's all. That's all. Any more things there, Philip?
No, but I did actually post a link for everyone for that book of, is it Urantia?
Yeah, the Book of Urantia.
For everyone to click so that they can read it, and there's an audio books and chapters there. So.
I don't get any royalties or anything on this. I'm just sharing information. Now, whoever I mention, anyway, I wish I did actually, but I don't. It will help me pay a few bills, but I don't actually. No, I have my own books for that. But yeah. I like to share. I mean, we do this on the show, Philip. You do this, John, and I. We all do this on the showing, share programs, shows, etc. Charles, I had an NDE years ago, and since then, Native Americans and people much doctors. As he told me, easier to watch and learn. Yes, if he said that, yeah, of course, Charles. Yeah.
Well, it's come to end, guys. I hope
Oh,
everyone's enjoyed.
sad.
I know.
I hope you enjoyed the show, and I've ruffled a few feathers on the way.
Yes. Oh, you did mention just in case someone's come in and has not heard. Have you got a title for next topic?
Not yet, because I've got, as usual, I've got a few irons in my fire, so I will tell you in a few days. It is really funny. I mean, I'm not doing this on purpose, don't get me wrong. It's just that I'll be working now. I have two friends who are computer programmers. The minute they see me and look at my screen on the computer, they go mad. I mean, it's a wonder none of them have dropped dead yet of a heart attack, because I've got two browsers open simultaneously. Each of them has got about 20 different pages to 20 or 25 different sites. I've got my Microsoft Word open with about as many books and projects and etc. And I keep opening and closing them because etc. And then suddenly there's a clever little git from space that comes down and says, "Oh, why don't you do something about this? Because I know the people are waiting to hear about this, and you have everything it takes to do it." And then so that's why I try not to. We have a lot of shows. I promise you, if you really want to stay tuned. And we're going to have a lot of shows. I have a lot of things, but I still haven't finished my show in Italian. I was going to do it, and in fact, I had again. I've had some clever little people from space and different places and dimensions, and say, "Oh, well, you should really talk about this too." So, okay, I'm going to check that. So it never stops. It's an ongoing process, even during the night. So yeah, we will have something very, very soon. The one I'm talking about is about God and DNA, the one I was talking about a moment ago. It's really, really amazing. And in fact, the subject is so vast that I have to do a lot of connection. And I'm doing this, step by step. We'll all get there.
Amazing. Yeah.
That'll be something
be good when it's all pieced together, and I'm pretty sure, it'll be good. Yeah. Definitely.
And like I said, you are getting an update, on the French version of this show. I did it about a month ago, because ever since I did the other one, I got a lot more downloads coming to me. So I got a lot of new things. Yeah, this is really great. Yeah.
Sure. So just for people in background or who's watching, Jesse Craignou has actually got books as well. You have actually got made books. There's also YouTube. If you put in Jesse Craignou, it pops up. So please, go to these sources.
Plus, if anybody is interested in karmic regressions, I remote work, I do healing. There are some people on the show here who contacted me. I did some healing for them and shows, and so always contact me, and then we'll see what we can do. Yeah.
Amazing. Right. Well, thank you, Jesse, and thank you for everyone who's commented and who's been watching. Please give us a thumbs up, give us a like. Please look at all these amazing networks and pages we've streamed to. Parapost, there's Self, Redridge, there's DNTV, Paranormal Postmortem, Vibes Network, is the Skeleton Key Network, and Temple of the Phoenix Rising Entertainment. We're connected to all these lovely pages. Please, there's loads and loads of videos to watch. And also, if you look on Beyond Dimensions and Redridge playlist, we've got loads of other Jesse's shows about Matrix, about all sorts.
Aliens, hybrids, yes, you name it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, it's nice to have had you here, Jesse, and thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Philip, for having me. Just remember, everyone, the sky is definitely not the limit. We've just had another proof tonight from Philip.
Yes.
Stay tuned for more.
Bye, guys.
Bye for now. Bye. Have a nice evening.